Two, 1, 2. We live on the air. What's up? I said live on the air like we on TV. Sometimes it feel like we on TV because it's like the same concept. So everybody tapping in. Okay, so we are live. So I appreciate everybody for tapping in. Yesterday, I don't know what was going on, but I had some difficulties, but I worked my way through it, and that's how you get down. Okay, so we are live, and we looking good. It's one thing to be live; it's another thing to be looking good. So that's what's up. We are in the building. Let me see if I clean this little camera off real quick, and I hope y'all can hear me. Looks like I'm getting some service. Yo, we got some things to talk about, Lacey, because earlier today I had made a post about the Obama situation. That's a lot better. I made a post about the Obama situation, and I said, no, I didn't even say anything, but I do news, right? So I had posted what I seen in a discussion about the whole thing that was talked about. I didn't post what he had said because I was like, I didn't want to give him that publicity. That dude, I already knew he was going to be. He only did it really, I think, to either start some trouble, or he did it because he was just trying to be funny. He wanted to be famous. One or two, or both. Okay, I don't even put a past to get to try to do both. I can get famous, and plus I can get some shit started in every community in America with this shit. So here no there, but some people had took offense to it and thought that maybe I was in support of what was going on. Nah, it's like what you have to understand is these things have to be talked about. I don't care if it's bad, if it's good, if it's horrible. We got to start talking about stuff. I'm telling y'all, because it don't even matter if we not talking about it anymore. They're going to talk about it. Okay. And just like I talked about like racism this last summer and how they're attacking females. Okay. So you're not going to talk about it. They're going to talk about it. They're going to discuss it. While you are at your barbecue, the club, kicking it, they in think tank rooms thinking of how they could take shit from you, bro. And that's what you need to understand. I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat it. If you watch Fox News and things like that, you'll understand. It's not just we're not just satisfied with the way things are right now. We are constantly coming up with ways to make people basically suffer. Like I'm gonna start playing clips from like Fox News, so you can see for yourself. Like these people are not playing with a full deck. Real talk. Um, but I got this video because I'm gonna get something to drink, and we are expecting guests down here at the studio tonight. So we're waiting on the guests. I want y'all to check this video out. This is crazy because Obama breaks his silence, man. He talks about what's going on right now, and we're gonna. Yeah.
Than Obama's JCPOA, which for the past 15 to 20 years, Donald Trump has been attacking the JCPOA. He's been mocking Obama for it. But at the end of the day, Donald Trump just did a JCPOA light, a C minus version of the JCPOA, where Trump gave Iran more money. Iran controls the Strait of Hormuz, and Donald Trump weakened the United States standing, not just in the Middle East, but across the entire world as a result of Donald Trump's weakness. Now, let me be very clear. My own view is I'm glad that there's a deal and that the United States is going to hopefully be out. We can never trust anything that Donald Trump says or does, so we'll see what happens, but we should never have been involved in this unlawful and catastrophic war with Netanyahu in the first place. But for Donald Trump, who said that I'm only going to get total surrender, ended up Trump basically doing total surrender. I'm going to do a deal so much better than Obama's. You see, when you actually step into the arena and you're confronted by complex issues, it's not always all that easy. It's easy to tear deals apart and to criticize and attack, but actually doing and balancing different issues and different constituencies and stakeholders, isn't a very easy thing. So as you all know,
Right. Make
I'll
sure
show
y'all
you
leave
what
that
Obama
comment.
said in a moment. You had Donald Trump who said, we're doing this deal with Iran. We've got the deal. There's going to be allegedly a signing in Geneva with MB Ghalibaf, Iran's parliament leader, who used to be one of the big military leaders there as well, and J.D. Vance. Apparently that's going to happen in Geneva. Donald Trump is apparently going to be giving Iran billions and billions of dollars, $24 billion in different tranches, and then potentially $300 billion in development monies throughout the, for the Middle East. I mean, up to $300 billion.
It's crazy. Listen.
Also, Donald Trump's like, we're going to get all the nuclear dust and all the material. No.
Now you finna
What
get
Donald Trump
nothing.
actually
Bro,
told
he
the New York
lying.
Times is that Iran will be permitted to enrich at low
Listen,
levels.
bro.
Not that all the material is going to be taken away. He said, it's at a level that can never be used by the Iran military. And Donald Trump said,
What?
that's what was in the JCPOA. But the JCPOA had a multilateral inspection mechanism. And this kind of is like, you're going to have to trust Iran to do it. So now let me show you what Obama said. I'll also show you another kind of key moment of Obama versus Donald Trump. And I want to remind you of what Obama said back on May 8th, 2018, when Donald
Listen,
Trump
y'all. This
withdrew
is
from the
interesting. Check it out.
JCPOA. And let's bring this all together, shall we? So here's what Donald Trump, first I'll show you what former President Obama said. Then we'll go into what Trump was saying. Here's what former President Obama told ABC about, how all of this is a reminder that, foreign policy problems can be complex. And this idea that we can just bomb our way out of things, isn't always, the right answer. It may seem enticing to some people, but you have to think through the different levels of consequences. So here's what Obama said. This is a reminder.
It is doubtful that any agreement that arises
seem enticing to some people
is going to be significantly different.
Why?
A significant improvement from the deal that we had in the first place. And
leave your comments, y'all.
For a long stretch of time before.
To me, hold on, y'all. That's what hurts to me. It's like Obama worked for this deal. Like he understood what was going on. He put his wisdom into it. Like that's a smart man. And Trump came in and just ripped it up. He did the same thing with a pandemic plan. They had a whole plan for if a pandemic happened, what to do. Trump came in and literally just ripped it up just because he black. That's the only reason. It can't be no other reason. All right, y'all, listen.
The United States pulled out of it. So I'm hopeful that bombing stops and ordinary people are no longer suffering as a consequence of the war. I think in retrospect, it's a reminder that on a lot of difficult foreign policy problems, the notion that we can just bully our way or bomb our way to solutions may sometimes seem appealing, but the fact of the matter is that taking the time to explore diplomacy and exhaust the possibilities of coming up with deals that don't solve 100% of the problem, but solve 80, 90% of the problem, while avoiding the necessity of going to war. You'd think we would have learned that lesson.
He's not.
It seems like every so often we have to relearn that lesson again.
You can see Rob.
Now I want to share with you just how prescient Obama was in May of 2018 when Trump pulled out of the JCPOA. But first, I want to also show you how Obama is haunting Donald Trump this week. Here,
before we continue on, y'all leave a comment. Let me know what y'all think. Like, is this something that y'all like, the format y'all like? If not, let me know. This is Black Media. Put this down here. Leave a comment. We're on 3 different platforms. We're on Twitch, we're on Face or YouTube, and we're on Facebook. So make sure I leave a comment, and we will put your comments up there so people can see them as well. So pretty dope. All right, y'all. So we're gonna continue on, and this is some really good stuff, y'all. Really good stuff.
Obama, when he goes to sporting events, how he's greeted. Let's play it. Now contrast that to when Donald Trump went to the only game in the finals where the Knicks lost, how Donald Trump was greeted, so you can see for yourself. Then let's dig into the JCPOA, but let's just play this clip so you can see the contrast. Let's play it. So now I want to share with you what former President Obama said on May 8th, 2018. This was the statement that Obama issued then. And just think about how prescient he was. He knew what was going to happen. Here's what Obama writes when Donald Trump, during Trump's first term, pulled out of the non-nuclear deal with Iran. Obama wrote, "There are a few issues more important to the security of the United States than the potential spread of nuclear weapons or the potential for even more destructive war in the Middle East. That's why the United States negotiated the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JPOA, in the first place. The reality is clear. The JCPOA is working. That is the view shared by European allies, independent experts, and the current U.S. Secretary of Defense." It was Mattis at that time, I believe. "The JCPOA is in America's interest. It has significantly rolled back Iran's nuclear program, and the JCPOA is a model for what diplomacy can accomplish. Its inspections and verification regime is precisely what the United States should be working to put in place with North Korea. Indeed, at a time when we are all rooting for diplomacy with North Korea to succeed, walking away from the JCPOA risks losing a deal that accomplishes with Iran the very outcome that we are pursuing with the North Koreans." Pause there, because you see, Donald Trump then allowed Kim Jong-un to get nuclear weapons. People don't talk about that enough. Donald Trump's back and forth love letters with Kim Jong-un ultimately resulted in Kim Jong-un getting nuclear weapons, and Trump withdrawing from the JCPOA in 2018 taught North Korea the lesson: we've got to rush to, one, delay, buy time, and then let's get a nuclear weapon. And then that's exactly what Kim Jong-un did. That is why today's announcement by Trump is so misguided. Again, this was May 8th, 2018. Walking away from the JCPOA turns our back on America's closest allies and an agreement that our country's leading diplomats, scientists, and intelligence professionals negotiated. In a democracy, there will always be changes in policies and priorities.
The reason why I'm letting y'all hear so much of this, because you really truly need to know. You need to know. I could tell you, me telling you is one thing, but you really need to hear from somebody else that all of this was for nothing. Like the 13 troops that was killed, it was for nothing. Like Obama's deal was already great. It was already protecting us as a country. And fast forward to today, right now, we are not protected as a country. You know, they can get nuclear weapons at any time. Like he basically made it to where now they can get nuclear weapons. Like, you have to understand, your kids are not protected. They're not protected anymore. Obama, the black president, and I hate to say it like that, but that's the way they always use it. The scary black president protected y'all and y'all kids forever. It didn't have to ever be touched. But now, President Trump came in and ripped it up, and we are no longer safe anymore. I don't care if you black, you white, you MAGA, wherever you are, we are not safe anymore. That's the bottom line. So let's list a little bit more.
Priorities from one administration to the next, but the consistent flouting of agreements that our country is a party to risks eroding America's credibility and puts us at odds with the world's major powers. Debates in our country should be informed by facts, especially debates that have proven to be divisive. So it's important to review several facts about the JCPOA. First, the JCPOA was not just an agreement between my administration and the Iranian government. After years of building an international coalition that could impose crippling sanctions on Iran, we reached the JCPOA together with the United Kingdom, France, Germany, the European Union, Russia, China, and Iran. It is a multilateral arms control deal unanimously endorsed by the United Nations Security Council resolution. Second, the JCPOA has worked in rolling back Iran's nuclear program. For decades, Iran has steadily advanced its nuclear program, approaching the point where they could rapidly produce enough fissile material to build a bomb. The JCPOA put a lid on the breakout capacity. Since the JCPOA was implemented, Iran has destroyed the core of a reactor that could have produced weapons-grade plutonium, removed 2/3 of its centrifuges, over 13,000, and placed them under international monitoring, and eliminated 97% of its stockpile of enriched uranium, the raw materials necessary for a bomb. So by any measure, the JCPOA has imposed strict limitations on Iran's nuclear program and achieved real results. Third, the JCPOA does not rely on trust.
You see how
rooted
positive
in
it was?
far-reaching inspections and verification regime negotiated in an arms control deal. Iran's nuclear facilities are strictly monitored. International monitors also have access to Iran's entire nuclear supply chain so that we can catch them if they cheat. Without the JCPOA, the monitoring and inspection regime would go away.
We had them on
Iran
lock.
is complying with the JCPOA. That was not simply the view of my administration. The United States intelligence community has continued to find that Iran is meeting its responsibilities under the deal and has reported as much to Congress. So have our closest allies.
And this before we go on, we're gonna list a little bit more because I don't want to get, but to put it in perspective for y'all, they made money. People around him made money, a lot of money off of this war, especially what they was doing with the gas prices, what they was doing with the stock market. Like, I got in an argument when he first started doing it. I got an argument with this soldier. She was about to retire, and she ended up blocking me because I was like, she was bragging about her stock. She was on here. She was like, yeah, I'm getting this. And I was like, man, I was like, lady, you have to understand. I mean, unless you're a millionaire or billionaire, like you're in real trouble. Like, you're in real trouble because what they are doing is they are playing with your money. They enriching themselves. Your little money is what's enriching them. You know what I'm saying? They playing with your little bit of money. So unless you're a millionaire, billionaire, you can stand to lose and gain and stuff like that. They're gonna eventually, it's gonna affect you. I don't know if it affected her or not, but I noticed that they just losing trillions in the stock market. Just the other a couple weeks ago, they lost $1 trillion in like a few minutes in the stock market. $1 trillion. What Elon Musk is worth. That's what they just lost in the stock market. So one girl was on Facebook and she was complaining like she just lost like $3,000 out of her retirement. Like, they wiped that money out of the stock market, gone. Y'all not paying attention. I don't know if y'all, they getting rich. They looting the treasury. They getting rich. All right, we're gonna list a little bit more.
And the international agency responsible for verifying Iranian compliance, the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency. Fifth, the JCPOA does not expire. The prohibition on Iran ever obtaining nuclear weapons is permanent. Some of the most important and intrusive inspections codified by the JCPOA are permanent. Even as some of the provisions in the JCPOA do become less strict with time, this won't happen until 10, 15, 20, 25 years into the deal, so there's little reason to put those restrictions at risk today. Finally, the JCPOA was never intended to solve all our problems with Iran. We were clear-eyed that Iran engages in destabilizing behavior including support of terrorism and threats towards Israel and its neighbors. But that's precisely why it was so important that we prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon. Every aspect of Iranian behavior that is troubling is far more dangerous if their nuclear program is unconstrained. Our ability to confront Iran's destabilizing behavior and to sustain a unity of purpose is strengthened with the JCPOA and weakened without it. Because of these facts, I believe the decision to put the JCPOA at risk without any Iranian violation of the deal is a serious mistake.
See, that's what I'm saying. They just, and I've always said this, like, you don't just whenever in life would you just come in and just rip something up. Like, that's not how we are taught in life. If you have to have a plan in place, you don't just come in and they yeah, President Trump, rip it up, cut it up. They cut up like FEMA. We're gonna talk about that, why they hate FEMA so much. It has to do with like New Orleans, and New Orleans, FEMA was responsible for rescuing all these black people and making sure they was placed without people missing and stuff like that. FEMA really came in and made sure they had hotels, and they saved a lot of lives. And I honestly think that's the reason why they do not like MAGA Republicans. They do not like FEMA, because FEMA will come in and rescue and help anybody. They don't want that. They like, some of y'all can fall by the waistline. Some of y'all should have fell by the waistline. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think you understand how these people think. You feel? So I'm just being real. I'm just being real. Like, especially if you're not MAGA, you just really, we already seen that with, you know, what happened in the ping, what happened with the ICE situation. You had two white people get, they don't look at it like that. They just look at it as you're not on a team and you don't really matter to them at that point. And that's something you have to, you know, take into consideration. Real talk. So, all right, y'all, we're going to get out of here. My name is Johnny. I thank y'all for tapping in. I wish a lot more people would leave their comment. We can make this a lot better and it could be fun. But until the end, we're just going to keep on just chopping it up. We're going to keep on pushing content. We're going to keep on getting better. And I think that makes me better. The fact that I got to do this by myself most of the time makes me better. So it's a blessing from God until I get other people involved. So anyway, we streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So make sure y'all tap in and watch it later. Watch the clips. There's some really good stuff in here. All right, y'all. We're gonna get out here. My name is Johnny.